So that allows payment from your local banks. Obviously your local Visa banks like CBZ, Standard Chartered, Barclays, FBC on MasterCard, those will work either through V-Payments or through Visa and MasterCard. Then we also have APIs directly into EcoCash and Telecash. We're not relying on parsing SMSs or anything like that. We have direct links into their host systems, so there's no worries about load or reliability or anything like that. Is this sounding okay over there? It sounds a bit weird here with echo. Right. Okay, so the major advantage of signing up with Paynow is that you don't need to go and sign up with those individual channels. Normally, you could go and sign up separately with V-Payments, but you'd have to go and get a merchant account with your bank. You could go and sign up with EcoCash, you could go and sign up with Telecash, but it'd be a very long and arduous process with a lot of contracts. If you sign up on Paynow, you integrate once with us, you can do the entire sign up online, and then you get access to all those channels. And when we add more channels, you don't need to do anything. It'll automatically be available to your site as well. So for example, we're hoping to add China UnionPay in the coming months, and also when things like PayPal allow you to accept money in Zimbabwe, we'll add those channels as well. So nothing changes on your end, you just get access to more payments. Okay. Yes? With introduction, that's a good idea, sorry. My name's Mathew Hood. I'm the lead developer at WebDev, working on Paynow, and I have developed this from the beginning with the assistance of some of our other WebDev guys who are around. Kuda and Welly are over there, you can stick your hands up. James is somewhere inside with Melissa, probably organizing lunch or something. Okay, so with Paynow, you receive the money directly into your Zimbabwean bank account. Okay, we don't hold balance, we don't allow you to pay with Paynow money or anything. We settle every day, and there is no minimum amount. So some of the other Visa gateways in Kenya, for example, they'll take your payment and hold on to it until you have, say, a $1,000 balance, then settle it to you. We don't do that. We settle it every day, and it'll go into any Zimbabwean bank account. There's a lot of ways of using Paynow. It's not just connecting your online shopping cart. We'll go through it in the presentation, but you can also send email payment requests. You can add buttons to your site, for example, donate, and that's all very simple. You don't have to rely on complex server-to-server integration to do that. Then obviously if you do want to go the whole route, you can integrate your shopping cart, or you could plug into your back-end billing system. If you're working with an ISP, you can automatically enable them to turn on bandwidth, etc. as they pay. We don't have any sign-up charges, and there's no monthly charges. The only fees on Paynow is a per transaction charge, and that depends on what payment method you're using. The cheapest is the mobile money, then your ZimSwitch V-Payments, and then your most expensive the world over is Visa and MasterCard. The other option you have is that you can choose either to absorb the fees. The traditional model is that the merchant always has to absorb the fees, but we know a lot of the online businesses have very small margins, so we do give you the option of adding the fees on or absorbing them, and that's up to you. We would obviously prefer you absorb fees, because we don't want the perception to be that online payments is more expensive, but obviously if it doesn't suit your business model, feel free to add the fees on top for the customer to pay. And Paynow, as I said, is run by WebDev and has a full backing of the largest partner bank here, and all the money is held in trust accounts. So it's not like sitting in WebDev accounts that we can use for other things. And the money is also protected in the case of there being any problems. Because it's in a trust account, the money will always make it either to the merchant or get refunded back to the customer. So you know that you're safe and you are going to receive your funds. With regard to receiving the money daily, you receive it end of day. Sometimes, depending on your bank, it'll settle the next morning. Yes, sir. I can't go into too much details on that sort of thing, unfortunately, because that's all got to do with contractual stuff. It doesn't make a difference to you, though. We all settle the money into any Zimbabwean bank account, so it doesn't make any difference for you. With regard to the settlement, SimSwitch V-Payments, EcoCash, Telecash, we settle every night, so it should arrive in most banks either that night or the next morning. Visa and MasterCard have a 2-day settlement period because that's to clear through Reserve Bank. That 2-day period, however, you don't have to wait 2 days before you provide service. When we say the transaction has been paid, it will arrive just 2 days later because the money is removed immediately from the customer's account. So you don't have to worry about what happens if he doesn't have money in 2 days or something. You can provide service immediately based on the payment confirmation. We also run a facility within Paynow called BuySafe. BuySafe is an escrow facility and is designed for consumer protection. So how BuySafe works is, for a start, it only works on amounts above $50. But how BuySafe works is, when the customer makes payment, the money gets held in suspense until the merchant confirms delivery. Once the merchant has confirmed delivery, so say for example I'm buying a cell phone off classifieds, I go and make my $250 payment and the money sits in Paynow. When the guys make delivery of the cell phone to me, he confirms within Paynow, and then as the customer I get notified by email and SMS to say delivery has happened. At that point I have 24 hours to dispute it. If I don't do anything after 24 hours, then the money is released to the merchant. If I do dispute it, then the money stays in escrow. We try to get the customer and merchant to work out their differences. If they can't, then we engage third-party arbitration. While the funds are being held in suspense, the merchant can reverse the transaction back to the customer free of charge. So for example, this can be used for more than just customer protection. One company is using it to give away 30-day free trials. So in that case, the customer makes payment, showing his commitment, but the merchant holds the money in BuySafe for 30 days, and then you can reverse it back to the customer if the customer isn't happy. Another example, this guy's import stuff from Amazon in America. They'll hold the money in BuySafe until the goods have arrived and cleared customs, because then they know if there's any problems with shipping or the product's not available or anything like that, they can reverse it to the customer without any issues. Once we release the funds to you, the merchant though, we can't reverse those funds anymore because they're sitting in your bank account. So if there's a problem after the BuySafe period, then obviously you have to sort out getting the money back to the customer yourself. BuySafe is optional. However, you do need to become a verified merchant and provide a business case for why you would like it turned off on your account. Obviously, if you're selling digital online goods, there is no delivery, so there's no problem turning it off. I mentioned verified merchant. A verified merchant is basically someone who we verified your identity. So if you log onto Paynow and sign up under a name, before we'll verify you, we need to take like a copy of the owner's ID. We need to know what your Zimra BP number is. We need to have a copy of your bank statement to prove that the bank accounts you've set up are actually that company. The advantages of being a verified merchant is you get your logo on the emails and on the web page, just giving authenticity to the customer. And on top of that, you then get access to Visa and MasterCard, and we can also, if you become a premium merchant, which is designed for the large corporates, you can then raise your transaction limits. We can discuss a different fee structure, but that's more designed towards the very large corporates who might be processing thousands of dollars a day. Let's have a quick look at Paynow. This is the login page. There's two logins. There's guest login, and that's for people making payment. They don't need to go and register and sign up for an account. All we need is their email address, so we can send them emails to confirm delivery, etc. And then they can just go straight in. You'll see on the API that you, as the developer, can actually specify the email address of the customer if you already know it on your site. So then it skips the whole login page completely. It automatically logs them in anonymously, and they'll get their updates. The other login is for registered users. Even if you are only making payment, it's a good idea to become a registered user because you've got better reporting and you can go and browse your previous transactions and things like that. But if you're a registered user, you can then receive payment. So when you sign up on Paynow, the sign up is open to everyone. All you need is an email address to sign up. And any account, even if you make a consumer account, you can still receive money from SimSwitch V Payments, EcoCash, Telecash. You do, however, need to become a registered merchant to receive Visa and MasterCard. We will be changing that in future. We will be allowing Zimbabwean Visa and MasterCards to be received by everyone without verifying, and we will allow 3D secured transactions to also be received by anyone. But at the moment, in this trial phase, because we're just working everything out with the banks, etc., you do need to become a verified merchant. But it's not a difficult process. It's just done by email. You send us a couple of copies of your bank statement, etc., and it takes 10 minutes. Right. Once you've signed up, the first time you log in, you'll be asked to set up your bank accounts. You can opt to receive one or more of them. It's completely up to you. If you're going to receive V Payments, we will create an account for you on V Payments automatically. There's no need to go and do a separate registration. There's no need to go and speak to your bank, anything like that. So once you've selected which ones you want, you then get asked, do you want them to receive the money into a single bank account or into multiple bank accounts? It's very rare someone would want to receive the money in multiple places, but it is an option. And lastly, it asks you if you would like to absorb charges or add them on for the customer to pay. After that, you get taken to the Receive Payments page, and on there you can create a payment request, create a payment button. We'll run through those now. We'll go through other ways to get paid. Manage your bank accounts is what we just discussed. Then you can view your transaction history, and you can manage your account information, your logins, etc. So when you want to make, and then the other option you have after logging in is when you want to make payment. So the first way you can do is to find a Paynow member. As soon as you've set up your bank accounts, you don't need to do anything else. You can already receive payment if the person goes and searches for you by your email address. So they can log in, search by your email address, and make payment to you. When you want to request payment from a customer, the most simple way is to use an email payment request. To do that, basically, we have two types: the simple email payment request and a custom template. On the simple one, all you need to supply is the customer's email address, a reference number for the transaction, the amount you would like to receive, and then if you want to put any notes on the email. If you go for the advanced template one, you can then create your own custom fields. You can choose whether you want to use a quantity rather than just an amount. And then those templates are saved, and you can use them either for an email payment request or for a button. So when you create the email payment request, I don't know if you can see these properly, just the Okay, so when you make an email payment request, you fill in that form, and then Paynow will send the email out for you. And this is what the email looks like on the right that the customer receives in their email inbox. And they just need to click the Paynow button down here, and it will then generate the transaction on Paynow. So this is doing it all through the Paynow interface. But what we'll discuss a bit later when we get to the code is you can generate those email links yourself as well. So if you send out invoices from your system or something like that, you can embed this link into the invoice without doing anything in Paynow, and it will regenerate the transaction when the customer clicks it. And then you're notified back either via an email or a post to your notify URL, which we'll go through later. So this creates the transaction. You can choose to lock the form. All it does is mark the fields as read-only. So it's not intended to be 100% secure. You know, if the customer goes and edits the HTML, they can change the amount. That's why it's important, if you're using a simple integration like this, that you check the amounts and reference numbers and that yourself when you receive payment. If you want to integrate in a way that the customer can never change the information, then you need to use the proper server-to-server API, which we'll discuss a bit later. So after the customer has been taken to Paynow and shown the transaction, he then gets to choose what payment methods he wants. So he chooses either eCash, Visa, MasterCard, or SIM-switch fee payments, is shown the different prices, and makes payment. It makes no difference to you as the developer which one he chooses. They all work exactly the same as far as you're concerned. You just get back different reference numbers depending on the system. So a more advanced version of that is our template system, which works very similar, except you can go and create your own custom fields. And those will appear on that form when the customer makes payment. So when you create a custom field, you have to give it a name, a type. The types are text, select list, or autocomplete. A text, obviously, if you can fill in a default value. The select, in the value box, you need to put a comma-separated list of options. So if it's, do you want this service? Yes, no. What color t-shirt do you want? You know, red, comma, green, comma, blue. And if it's an autocomplete, you can then specify your own URL, which we'll then do a JSON request against, and you supply us back a list of strings that we'll then autocomplete for the customer. So this is nice, for example, if you want to plug it into your billing system. So the customer might not know his name and account number. You just create an autocomplete box, expose a web service your end, and as the customer types, it'll autocomplete his information. You can then mark if it's required or not, and then your validation. We have some pre-built-in validation, easy things like, oh, it must be a number, or it must be a positive number. But you can also select a custom option and enter a regex that we will parse against that field before we let the customer submit the form. So you can go and create a regex to make sure that the account number is in the right format, for example, or ID number is correctly formatted. You can then add a comment that appears below the field and then give it an order that you want them to appear. You can also, on the template, opt to put in an amount